Hello everyone, and welcome back to our 13 days of Halloween. I hope you are excited for what we have in store for you today, and that is our reversible vertical porch sign. Now, today we're gonna get kind of like a two-in-one craft where you all are gonna get a Halloween craft and a fall craft. So stick around to learn exactly how we are gonna do this with our Cricut. Before we get started on our porch sign, one thing I do want to make sure that you all know, we are going to be doing a frameless porch sign, so it's going to look like it has a frame, but it's not going to have a frame, and it's going to be absolutely beautiful by the end. But our supplies, it looks like there's a lot on this table, and there is. Obviously, we are starting out with our wood plank. Now, this one we just got from Hobby Lobby. You can pick these up at any local home improvement store, or craft store, either one, and you really can get whatever size you want for this. We just picked this one up at Hobby Lobby because it was simple and easy. Because we are working with a large area, we are also going to need a 12 by 24 light grip cutting mat. Now, we are going to be painting this sign today, and we are going to be using StarCraft chalk paint. On the other side, which I will show you guys in a minute, I've already painted one side black, and so this side I'm going to be using linen white, but we are going to be using chalk paint. We're also going to use painter's tape. This is just the Frog brand painter's tape. Any painter's tape will work. We are going to be using a straight edge for measuring for our frameless effect, as well as a pencil to mark that off. Because we are painting, we are going to need a paintbrush. After we have finished painting, we are going to be staining the edges of our sign, and I will go ahead and flip this over for you so you can see what I mean. So I have just taped this off, and what I'm going to be doing is we're going to be coming in here. This is our favorite wood stain. It is the Early American. We're just going to be coming in here and staining the edges of this so that it gives it the faux frame look. When it comes to staining, you are going to need some gloves, and we've just got an old t-shirt or an old rag that you've cut up, and we're going to be staining those edges with that. Once we have painted our sign, we are going to be using HTV to apply our design to our sign. So you will need lots of different colors of HTV depending on what design you want. These are the colors that we are going to be using today. You are also going to need a sanding block, and that's just to give this sign a good light sand all over. And finally, you are going to need florals. Now, this is something that is not absolutely required for your sign. We think that it would give it a very nice touch. Now that we have gone over all of our supplies, we are going to actually start with preparing our sign before we jump into the design space portion. And the reason we're doing this is because you need to have your sign painted and let it fully dry before we move on to any other step. So as you can see, I've already painted one side of this sign. This is going to be the Halloween side of the sign. I'm going to teach you guys how to add this frame to our sign, and then we're going to go ahead and paint it, and then once it's dried, we are going to add the stain, and then we will add our HTV. So first thing that you want to do with your sign is you want to measure, you want to know how large your frame is going to be. So with this piece of wood is it's 9 inches in width anyway, so it's fairly small when it comes to working with an area. So I decided to only leave a very small, like a 1/2 inch frame along the edge. So what you will need to do is decide how large you want your frame to be, and then what we're going to do is we're just going to come in here and we're going to mark ever so often on that 1/2 inch mark. So we're going to come over here and we're going to measure 1/2 inch. And then we're going to do that all the way across the sign. Once you have the sign marked all the way around, what I'm doing now is I'm just coming in here with this straight edge, and I'm making my marks. Once you have made your marks all across your sign, what you're going to do now is you're going to take your painter's tape and you are going to lay that along the edge of your marks. Then you're just going to come in with your finger and make sure that is down nice and smooth. Now that we've got that taped off, one thing that I want to make sure to let you guys know, for best results, if you want to, you can give this a light sand. I have already given it a light sand before taping it off, but that is what the sanding block is for, just to give your whole sign a light sand. With the chalk paint, if you are using a darker color, black mainly covers everything up, but because I'm using this white color, this linen, I did give this side a light sand. So make sure that you do that before you start painting. I'm going to give this sign its first coat of paint. Now, as you are painting your sign, you can use, we actually suggest that if you are painting the signs using a small roller, we just did not have any at this moment. So you can, as you can see, you can use a brush. We use brushes all the time, but with larger areas, sometimes a roller will work best. Now that we have the first coat of paint on our sign, we are actually going to set it aside and let it dry. You will need to do a second coat, maybe even a third if you're doing a light color. Normally with these chalk paints, 2 coats of paint do great. However, we did do the linen white, so we're going to at least do 2 coats and then see how it looks after 2. But now that we have this done, we're going to set it aside and then we're going to hop over into Design Space. Now, while we're waiting on our sign to dry, here in Design Space, we're going to start the process of designing our porch sign. So what I have done is I've actually measured the size that the painted area is, and I have put in a guide, 2 different guides, one for each side in Design Space. Now this is, you are going to have to work, we're working at 25% because it's hard to see if you don't zoom it way out, because of how tall this porch sign is. So one side is going to be our Halloween side, and then one side is going to be our fall side. So on our Halloween side, I'm going to show you what I want it to look like and then I'm going to teach you how to get there. So on our Halloween side, I'm going to have a cute little ghosty down here in the corner, and it's going to say "Boo, y'all." And then for our fall side, we are going to have "Hey there, pumpkin," with a cute little pumpkin on the bottom. And we are actually leaving room on the top of both of these signs so that we can add in a floral piece. So just keep that in mind. That's why we're leaving the tops, the area up top, is so we can put a floral piece there. So I'm going to hide these again, and I'm going to walk you step by step on how to get to our finished product. First of all, I'm going to show you guys and teach you guys how to download fonts from Maker's Gonna Learn. We actually have 2 on this computer that are not downloaded, so I'm going to head over to Maker's Gonna Learn. The first one that we're going to be looking for is the Sassy Cow. That's the one that that's the cow print that the word "boo" was in. So I'm just going to search Sassy Cow. It's going to come up, and we're going to download this one. The next one we are going to search for is Free Spirit. Now you don't have to type in the whole word. You can just type in the first part of the word and it will search for you. So right here, Free Spirit, I'm going to download that. So these are both zip files. We are now going to have to open each one of them separately, open the font up, and install it into our font book. So I'm going to go back to Free Spirit, do the same thing, open that up, install the font into Font Book. Now to get them to work in Design Space, we're going to go here to Cricut, and I'm going to go to View, and I'm going to reload. Now if you're working on something and you haven't saved it, which I've not changed anything here, so I don't have to save it, but if you are working on something and haven't saved it in a while, make sure you go ahead and save it before you hit reload, or it will go back to the last saved time. So once again, make sure you save it and then click reload. What that is going to do is that is going to reload Cricut Design Space. As you can see, it went back to 100%, so we're going to zoom right back out to 25. And then here it is. We're going to hide these. And what that does is that uploads the fonts that you previously did not have on Design Space, and it puts them in there. So now we're going to go over to text. We're going to do the drop-down search menu. Now the new Cricut update, you do have to go to System for System Fonts. So we are looking for a system font, and first thing we're going to do is we're going to work with Sassy Cow. So I'm going to grab that. From here, I'm just going to type out the word boo. Now the cool thing about the new Design Space feature is I can just move this in, and look, it already makes it vertical, or you can move it out and it puts it back horizontal. So we are wanting this word to be vertical, so I am moving it in from the sides to make it vertical, and from there I'm going to move it over here and I'm going to size it up as large as I can. Okay, so now we have our boo, and you can move it up or down, add things, whatever you want. Next, we're going to add the word y'all. So once again, we already uploaded that font. I'm going to go in here to text. I'm going to change the font to Free Spirit. Go to Systems, Free Spirit. I'm going to make that a little bit bigger so I can see it. And then y'all. Now I'm going to take this and I'm going to move it down below. We're going to have to size it down to fit in our guide and then place it down here. So our next step, what we're going to do, and one thing that you can do to kind of keep things separate, if you want to change your guide back to basic cut, that way you can see what color background you're working with. So I know that my background is black. So because the Halloween background side is black, I'm not going to cut out boo out of black vinyl. So I'm going to change this to white. This way we kind of have more of an idea of exactly what our sign is going to look like. And I'm going to change that to white. Okay, so now I want my little ghost here in the bottom. If you go to Maker's Gonna Learn and search ghost, it will come up. I have already downloaded it, so I'm just going to go to View All. And then if you've already downloaded an image, this is a very good way, a very good shortcut to check and see if you have downloaded it. I'm just going to type in ghost. So this is what the file looks like on the Maker's Gonna Learn website. I'm going to select that and I'm going to add it to my canvas. From there, I'm going to pull it over to the side, and then I'm just going to ungroup these. And then I'm going to delete out the ones that I don't want. We're going to change this little guy back to white, pull him down here in the corner, and then make him pretty big because we want him looking like he's coming up out of the corner of our sign. So now that we have him there, I'm going to add in my cowboy hat. Because I want to put my cowboy hat on here first before I show you all how to slice out the edge of this ghost so that it fits perfectly in your corner, and that was a good guide for where you can start. So once again, I'm going to go over here to Upload, View All. This is one that we have recently. So we're going to select this, select our cowboy hat. Now, as you can see, it's just an outline. I don't want just an outline, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate. I do want to work with the outline, but I also want a solid color. So I'm going to select this part, go to Contour, and I'm going to hide all contours. That's just going to give you your basic shape. So now we know that I want my cowboy hat brown, and then I have duplicated that. So that lays right over top of there. You can select both of them and arrange them or align them center so that it fits perfect. So now I'm just going to group those together. That way they cut separately. However, I can move them together here. So once I have that grouped together, I'm going to move it down, probably turn it just a little bit. It does have to be within our parameters. So it looks like our little ghost is too big for our cowboy hat to fit. So we're going to size our little ghosty down, pull our cowboy hat down. Let's move him over some. And then from there, you can actually space this out. Okay, so once we have everything pretty well set, one thing about this design is I feel like it can get to where it looks kind of spread out a little bit. So what we're going to do, what I'm going to show you. Now, normally I say this is a cardinal sin and you never ever do this. However, with some fonts, it works and it can work to your advantage. So this font is locked, which means it can only move up and down. See, nothing else changes. However, if you go up here to your size of your font, this little button right here, the lock button, if you unlock that, the cool thing about this is you can stretch your fonts. Once again, if you are working with the image, cardinal sin to unlock it and stretch it. However, sometimes with fonts, it works to stretch it out just a little bit, especially since we're working with a skinnier area. So we're just going to stretch it down some and stretch it out so that we can fill up all of this area. Now, once we have everything set, now that we have it all set where we want it, what I'm going to do now, I'm going to slice off this excess of this ghost so that we know that it fits perfectly in the corner. So what you're going to do, we have turned this guide into a basic cut currently. So you're going to select your ghost. You're going to come over to your layers panel. All the way at the bottom, you're going to hit Control or Command and select both of those layers. Now, because we are working with 2 layers, it is going to slice. So we want to slice that out. Now, if we go to the top, we can see that we have sliced off the bottom of our little ghosty. So we want to, because I want to still keep my guide together, let's select both of these, and we can actually delete that one out and turn this back into a guide. And then we're going to move our little ghost, we're going to arrange it and send it to back. Now that we have our Halloween side done, we're now going to work on our autumn or fall side, and the 2 fonts that we're going to be using today is Insistence for Pumpkin and Demonstrate for Hey There. So what I'm going to do, grab our text once again, come up here, we're looking for system fonts. We are working with the Demonstrate first, Demon. We're going to make it larger so I can read it, and then I'm just going to type Hey There. Now, from here, because I want it to be fairly large, if I were to size this down, it would have to be super, super small. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to move this side in so that they're on top of each other, but then I'm going to ungroup to lines. And the reason being is because I want to move this around. So we are going to kind of size it down, and you may have to zoom in some. So we're going to size this down to fit within our guide, and then size this one down as well. I actually think I like that better. So we're going to do not a capital T, we're going to do a lowercase t, and then we're going to size it on down some. And I kind of think I like it touching. Let's size it down just a little more. So this is really going to be a personal preference, how you want it, where you want it. That's going to be totally up to you. but I think we're going to do that. And then once you are satisfied with the placement, then you are going to select them both and you are going to weld them together so that they are one unit. From there, we're once again grabbing our text, and then the text we're going to be using for this one, we're going to Systems, Insistence. We're going to make it larger, all in capital letters. We're going to type out pumpkin, zoom out, and once again, the new feature in Design Space is you can just move this in, and then actually move this down. There we go. And now, since it's all vertical, we are going to resize. Once we have this sized down, we're going to go up here to line spacing, and we're actually going to pull our line spacing closer together. That way we could still make it just a little bit bigger. There we go. Boom. Now that we have this set, we are going to add the pumpkin detail. This is where you can download. If you go and search pumpkin, this will come up on makersgonnalearn.com. We are going to add this to Canvas. Now, this is at kind of a different angle than what I'm wanting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ungroup this, and I'm going to move this pumpkin out of the way. My next step that I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here to the shapes. I'm going to grab a square. I'm going to pull it over here. Probably just go ahead and unlock that. And I'm going to make it large enough to where it covers this side of the leaves. Now I'm going to select them both, and I'm going to slice. Now the only reason I sliced this is so that I could move this around and kind of manipulate it and this other side the way that I want to. So now I'm going to come in here, size my pumpkin as large or as small as I want, and then I'm going to size my floral pieces down, change the angle a little bit. Now one thing to keep in mind is it does still look small, but this is still a very large piece. So we're going to size it down even more. Move this pumpkin. I'm actually going to change the angle of it just a hair. And then we're going to grab this. Actually, what you can do is once you have this one set and the angle that you want it, you can duplicate it, pull it over, flip it horizontally, bring it in, select these both, align them center, and boom. Now what you could do as well, if you wanted to, you can select your pumpkin and your guide, and then we're going to align them, and we're going to center them horizontally so that our pumpkin is centered within our guide. We are now going to cut our design out of HTV. Now, obviously, this is a very large design. One thing I want to make sure you guys know and understand is make sure that your letters stay within the 24-inch, 12 by 24 inch. For the most part, if you want them to stay together. Now, one thing I do want to show you, just in case you are not working with a 24-inch piece of vinyl, or you only have 12 by 12 or a shorter piece of vinyl, one thing that you can do, we'll go back to Design Space, and I'm going to do this on the word pumpkin. What you want to do is you're going to want to ungroup these and select them one at a time. So we're going to start with a P. Okay, our P is 2 inches in height, and our U makes it 6. So if you have a 12 by 12 mat or piece of vinyl, you can still select more. So now we're at 9 inches. Okay, let's try the other P. Okay, we're over the 12 inches now. So what you are going to want to do is go back, deselect this P, or select these 3, and then you are going to attach them together, okay? And then start with these, so P, Okay, 6, 9, the N, still over 12, so we're just going to select these 3 and then attach. And so that only leaves your N, only leaves you having to line up your N. So now when you cut, when you go to cut, so let's change this color so that it doesn't show up on that mat. So we're going to go to make it, and then we're going to go down to our pumpkin. So as you can see, the word pumpkin, P-U-M is grouped, is attached together. P-K-I is attached together, and the N is the only thing separate. So technically speaking, you can fit it on a 12 by 12 mat and still have room to cut other things if you want to. That's just a little bit of a hack or a tidbit of information that I wanted to let you guys in on, because I ran into that problem myself where the piece of vinyl that I wanted to work with was not long enough to accommodate the full 24 inches. So I had to group my letters together, and I think it was 2 at a time. So what we're gonna do when we add this to our sign, you're gonna see that I have 2 letters, 2 letters, 3 letters. So we're going to line it up manually. That's the easiest way that I have to tell you. Yes, it is a manual lineup. However, you can use a straight edge and get those straight. Try your best to get them as straight as possible. But that's the easiest way for me to teach you how to use it if you do not have 24 inches in length of vinyl to cut from. Now, this is HTV that we are going to be using. So what you need to do is you need to make sure all of your images are mirrored, because when you are cutting HTV, you have to be cutting a mirrored image. What that does, you're going to put shiny side down on your mat, you will weed it, and then we're going to turn it over and add it to our sign. Now before we start adding our vinyl to our sign, we're actually going to take off the tape, and I'm going to stain the edges to give us that frameless, framed look. So now I'm just going to be taking up this tape, and I'm actually going to take it up from the bottom down here. One thing I will say is I love frog tape. I know Scotch makes a good tape, and I do love the blue painter's tape, the Scotch Blues painter's tape. But man, frog tape to me just gives me such a good, crisp line. So what I am going to do before I stain this, I'm actually going to come in with an eraser, and I'm going to erase this pencil mark that I put on here by accident first, as best as possible, best as I can. Now, one thing that I will say, if you are doing it all black, you can just go ahead and come in and stain this. And on this side, we are going to do that, and I'll show you, you don't have to tape it off. However, since we are using a cream color on this side, I highly suggest that you take some tape, and I'm going to actually tape off the inside. That way it doesn't get on this early American stain, does not get on our cream paint. Now, one thing I'm doing right here is I'm just coming through and cutting off these corners so that they are straight edges across. And we'll add our last little bit of tape. One other thing I'm going to do before I add the stain is I'm going to do a light sand on the outside edges of this little frame. Now that we have that sanded, I'm going to go ahead and put my glove on, and we are going to start staining the outside of our sign. Now, one of the best practices when it comes to staining is having another dry cloth or a paper towel handy. That way you can wipe away the excess. So we're just going to open our stain up. This is a well-loved stain. We do not have very much of it left. So we're just going to put some on an old rag, and then we're going to come in and just stain these edges. Now, one thing I do want to make sure you all are super careful about, especially with this white layer, is trying your best not to get fingerprints on it, because as you can see, I was not paying attention and got my fingerprints on it right here, which I can kind of buff out a little bit. And really and truly, if you have to, you can kind of come in here with a sanding block and just kind of buff it out and not mess it up. So now that we have that, we're going to pull up our edge. Now, if the stain for some reason gets in the grain and gets on your beige layer or your lighter layer, what you can do is just go in here and just kind of touch it up just a little bit. Or you could even bring in your paint and do just fine touch-up work. Either one, it really just depends on how precise you want to get. Now that we have our frame stained, we are going to start the process of adding our HTV to our sign. Now, remember with our Halloween design, we had our little ghost that has the corner, so that's where we're going to start with this one specifically. We're going to start down here in the corner, and we're just going to line him up down here with our corner, black corner. And then we are going to come in here with a mini easy press with a heat setting of 2. And we are going to heat this onto our wood sign. Now we are going to add his little hat. Now we're just lining up the hat detail. We're going to add that on. Now we're going to line up the word boo and y'all before we really press it down. First, I'm going to press y'all down. And then we're going to press boo. One thing I am going to do when doing boo, because HTV on wood seems to do a little better with a, as soon as you put it down, peel it. Now I'm just going to go through and make sure that's all down. So now, other than our floral piece at the top, we have our Halloween side done. Now I'm going to flip it over and do our fall side. Now this design is not one where we can start at the bottom, have a guide, and go up. So I'm actually going to lay all of these out first before I start pressing them down. So we're going to start with our pumpkin toward the bottom, and then add our leaves just to give us an idea of how much room we are working with. Okay, so I'm actually going to move this pumpkin on down toward the very bottom, and I'm going to start the process of pressing. So now we're going to start with our word, pumpkin. You all know we don't like to measure around here. Alicia and I are queens of the eyeball game. So don't come for us for not measuring and getting it precise. And there we have it. Now it is just ready to add the floral detail on the top to both sides. I know this has been a long project, but I really hope that you all have enjoyed it. Porch signs are super popular right now, and I hope you have learned different ways of designing, how to put HTV on wood, how to create a frameless frame. There are so many different things that we covered in this video. Now, if you liked all of the cut files and fonts that we used and you would like to join Makers Gonna Learn, you can at makersgonnalearn.com/join. We are a crafting community where we bring you education, motivation, and inspiration to start using your Cricut. I hope you all have enjoyed our 13 days of Halloween crafts so far, and I can't wait to see what you all create, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.
Now today we are featuring a hot product that is in the Cricut space that we had to try out for this live stream. We also want to make sure you have the best quality. So today we are using Flex Seal because I think you're going to be blown away, A, at how well it works, B, the durability, and C, there's no more Tanner spending 2 hours dabbing with the acrylic paint. Lauren, I made so many of these doormats and I just dab, and the whole hour is spent dabbing, like with the paint. So today we have found something to work better. I'm so excited to share it with you, and this is the Flex Seal. So this is a special part of today's doormat. You're gonna love it. I cannot wait for you guys to see it and then try it for yourself. So we're about to jump in to the project and share with you all the supplies needed. I have a design space little training to do so that you can design this yourself. Lauren, I used one basic shape, one font,
I know.
one cut file.
So easy.
This is not hard.
Somebody, I think it was Yvette up here, said maybe we can convince, maybe we can buy enough Flex so that we can convince them to start making other colors.
Oh my gosh.
That would be amazing.
I mean, if they could do this, I want to see this in a lot of different colors for doormats, for all sorts of things. I mean, this may be good enough to stop a leak, but it's gonna be even better to make my doormat.
You better believe it.
So it's gonna be fantastic. We're also featuring a few other things today. We're using the freezer paper technique. It's still my hands down favorite way to make a doormat. So I'm just gonna put all the material here and just pick it up and kind of talk to you what you need. You're gonna need freezer paper. You're gonna need a 12 by 24 mat. I'm using a light grit mat today. This is our 12 by 24 mat. It's awesome with the freezer paper. We also have butcher's paper. Now guys, we're in a very well ventilated studio. I want you to know, open a door, do what you need to do, go outside if you can to spray this because we want to make sure you are safe. We're in a very large, well ventilated studio. What I'm using butcher's paper for today is to mask off around the doormat, okay? That's what we're using to protect our surface when it comes time to spray. I want you to see the spray results as well. So that's why we're doing it right here in the studio. But be in a well-ventilated area for any time you're pulling out spray paint. Like, we cannot ask you, like epoxy, spray paint, all that stuff. Take care of yourself, wear a mask if you feel more comfortable, and things like that. So yay, I love it.
Honestly, what I love about this project is other than the mat, these things are things that you should have have on you.
Yes.
You may not have the Flex Seal, but
yeah, the Flex Seal and the $5 to $8 doormat.
But there was somebody on here said that they were just going to raid their husband's stash if they're in the garage.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Easy. The doormats, I want to let you guys know, we've linked some doormats for you. Other places you can check: Hobby Lobby, Target, IKEA. Those are 3 places. Home Depot, tried and true places to get your doormats. So that's fantastic. Again today, my friends, we are giving away the mini Easy Press. So if you're entered to win, the link's down below to get registered for that. Butcher's paper, I bought this big old thing from Amazon. You could also buy it at Home Depot for butcher's paper. It's gonna be fantastic. So,
and this can be done on a regular maker, correct?
This can be done on any machine. Explore 2 Maker series. We are utilizing our fine point blade, my friends. So anytime that I'm making a project with my fine point blade, you are able to rock this on an Explorer, on a Maker, whatever machine you would like to craft with. So it is going to be so much fun. and we are ready to jump into it. But let's go ahead, let's head on over to Design Space and take a look at our project. Now this looks a little, special, a little complicated, but it's really not at all. I'm closing out some of this. I like to share with you guys the finished project first so that you know what we're working towards. So this right here is what we're working towards today. We are working with, again, one cut file, one shape, one font. One of every area really, not much at all. So it's gonna be fantastic. I think each one of us, whether you are a beginner or you are an expert Cricketer, is going to be able to take this tutorial and replicate it yourself, okay? So what we're gonna do, we're gonna zoom out, and you're going to want to grab our SVG snowflake pattern from makersgonnalearn.com. Now, if you are not aware, when you join Makers Gonna Learn, you get access to our thousands of cut files. Spoiler alert, y'all, we have 1,000, just 1,000 alone, Christmas cut files. So we are gonna type in snowflake, and let me see if I can share with you the exact file we're using. So you get 1,000. So if you're wanting to make your handmade holiday, definitely get plugged in with us. We have a lot of snowflakes to choose from, but we are going to use the snowflake pattern. And Miss Debbie says ready to partay. I love it, my friend. You are awesome. So yay. So this is what you'll download. And again, go over to the cut file area. Check out all of the cut files we have. It will literally take care of so much of your crafting needs. And Miss Lisa says, I got my membership last year. Do I need to do anything to renew? If your credit card changed, if anything like that changed, I would update it. But if not, you're good to go. That's awesome. So here's what we're working with today. I'm going to go ahead and you want to measure your mat. So our mat measures 30 inches by 18 inches. So this right here, we're going to borrow. So this is now our doormat. And what we're going to do is we're going to take our snowflake and we have to contour out a few of these extra snowflakes. So I contoured a ton on the live on Monday. So we're going to contour again, 3 simple buttons. We're going to contour here, we're going to contour here, and we're going to contour here and here, and then I'm going to get these extra little shapes. So this is when I like to just scroll through and hide these, okay? Really easy. All right, so we're going to click X, and now we have our shape. Now I'm going to change the shape to white. So we changed it to white, and then what I'm going to do is kind of take it here and kind of move it up a little bit just so that I can kind of see what size it will be. So this looks good. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to size it down just a little. Actually, I don't know exactly what I should do here. We'll play around with it. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to slice it right here in the middle. So let me share with you how we're going to slice this in the middle. Let's go ahead and zoom in to this layer. And we're going to take this shape icon and another shape, and we're going to unlock it just like so. And we're going to make it a small rectangle, and then we're going to take it right here. So I place this very small rectangle that was a square. I size it right in the middle. So what I'm about to do is teach you guys how to slice this, and then you will see the cut file turns into 2 layers. So we want to now select our rectangle and select our snowflake, and we are going to select slice. Ta-da! Boom. 1, 2, and now you see, oh, this is so interesting. We need to slice out the entire shape. I had no idea. So let's go back. This is a great learning tip. I thought since they were only connected in one place that it would be good enough. No. So let's unlock this. Let's select here. And now what we're going to do is drag this over, just like so. I'm going to bring it over here, make sure that it is long enough, everything like that. All right. So now that I sized it like so, we are going to be able to take it and repeat that. Ta-da! And press slice. All right, let's see. We still have not been able to slice it.
Can you take that box and move it all the way up over the snowflake and then?
Oh, you know what? That is what we could do.
Yeah.
Love it. Okay, so I need to unlock it. I'm gonna get a whole new square because my little icons are driving me wild. My little icons are driving me wild. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. So Lauren said, let's try grabbing a shape.
Yep.
And this is fun. Like I actually love sharing with you guys different ways to do this because look.
And then slice that.
We're gonna drag this right here. And then look, we're gonna be able to select this, drag and drop. We're gonna press slice. Ta-da!
There you go.
Awesome idea, Lauren. Thank you. Beautiful. Look at this. 2 different layers. One way or another, we were gonna rock it. So we can go ahead and zoom out. And then as you can see here, we're gonna be able to now, you know, start playing around with this and see what we may need to make this fit. So you can go ahead and size this down. And you could leave it locked too, if that's better for you. You could scale this down a little. You can make sure it's now the same size. So I'm gonna scale this down a tad bit. Let's see how that looks. Okay. Now I do have a trick. So the best part about this is you don't have to line this up perfect on the mat. This is really just a design part for you. You know, you're still gonna have to line it when you cut it too. But for the sake of today's video, you are gonna want to have this lined up. So just keep it lined up and then you can press shift and drag it down. That will help you a lot. All right, so now that we have that there, this is taken care of. You can zoom on in and look what we're about to do, guys. So now that we have our snowflake, we actually just need to add our rectangles. So we're going to grab another shape. We're gonna grab a square and I'm gonna change this to white. Awesome. And I'm going to ungroup it, unlock the size proportion. Awesome. And we're gonna drag this out and over. Loving this hack, Melissa. This is gonna make your stuff look so store-bought, like so store-bought, so custom. It's gonna be unbelievable. Okay, so now what we're doing is we're gonna take this here. Boom, look at that. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna duplicate this shape. And we're gonna go ahead and drag this one down here at the bottom and make sure your layers end up touching because we're going to weld them together very shortly. So we have that selected. We have this selected. Now, my friends, if you want your safety, I do want to encourage you, if you like how this is placed, if it's touching, anything like that, go ahead and weld it. And here's why. It's going to kind of keep you in line for your project. It's going to have it welded. It's going to be solid, okay? But if you're wanting to make this as big as we're doing today, I would not do that yet because what we're going to cut it like is our letters on one with part of the snowflake and the other snowflake is on the other part. I actually forgot this is a 2-mat project. So I'm gonna share with you when to weld everything after we do our final part. Now, Lauren, this was a few steps, but like we're almost done.
I know, and it's one of those things like I would probably go ahead and weld that bottom part, the snowflake and that line together.
Yeah, we could do that.
That way that it doesn't
It's not going anywhere.
It's not going anywhere. And then you can add in your font and then weld all the rest of it together.
Yeah, so maybe let's jump back over. We're almost in the home stretch of this project, but I loved being able to address it. So I'm just gonna go ahead for our friends that need to know what weld is. Lauren, maybe I should explain what weld does.
I would, yeah.
So I have 2 shapes
I feel like
here.
we have a lot of new people on here. I mean, we have our main people on here.
Of course.
But we also have some new people. So let's explain to them what that is.
Yeah, so welding is just like weld in general. This is taking 2 shapes and turning it into one. Now, what I like to tell all our students is the layers panel, which is over here on your right-hand sidebar, these layers where you see me clicking, this is your secret weapon to Design Space. This is going to show you what you're doing wrong, what's going on, and it kind of tells you the health of your craft, if you will. How many layers is you got going, right? This is that. So for us today, we have our snowflake layer and we have our square layer. And when I go to cut this, I want this to cut one shape. How do I do that, Lauren? How am I go tell the Cricut to do it? And because the Cricut can't read our minds.
Right.
We have to program it. So here's what you do. You select this layer. It's highlighted gray. You can see the 4 like little buttons around there. That means you've selected it. Okay, my friends. Next up, we're going to hold Shift down and we're going to select our other layer. So now we've selected our square and our snowflake. All right. Now that that is selected, we are going to go down to the bottom right-hand corner and you'll see that there's a few tools down there. You can see slice, you can see weld, you can see attach and flatten and contour. Now we're simply go press weld, and when we press weld, watch what happens to our layers panel. Those 2 layers become one. So in 3, 2, 1, I'm pressing the button right now, it turns into a weld result layer. So now we have 2 beautiful weld result layers. My friends, how easy was that? Oh my goodness. All right, let's do the final step. That is adding our font and welding one last time. So over here in Design Space, we're using our Liam font. So our Liam font, right here, let me go back. You can find this under our fonts. So when you join today, you're actually getting a ton of stuff, like so much. Don't even worry about all the stuff you get. Just focus in on what you need
For
the
life.
most. Yeah.
You can download this and keep it for life.
Yeah, as soon as you download this font, Lauren, it's on your computer, you have it forever.
It's done.
It's crazy. So this is the Liam font. This is one of the fonts you get when you're a member. You can download this. You can actually buy this on the website by itself, but Lauren, it's like $7. It's a lot. Especially when there's like almost 1,000. Like you want all access.
Right.
So that's what you can do. Over here at Design Space, we're going to open that font up. And now we're going to type out a last name. So we're using my grandparents. So Gordons. Does it say? Yeah, we're going to say the Gordons.
Yeah.
So let's go over here. And I might do each. So here's a little hack. So working with fonts, I like to do each word in its own text box. That's just like personal preference for me. I don't know if you all do that. It's kind of just what we do, what I personally do around here. So then I'll duplicate this and I'll just say the. So select that, the Gordons. And we're gonna change that to a white text box. All right, now we have a few things that we need to do here. This is called manipulating your fonts, also known as kerning your fonts. Whichever way you want to call it, you have the ability to call it either one. So this is what we're going to do here. I'm just positioning this where we want it. For Gordon, I'm going to take a letter space and I'm going to bring it down. So I'm going to connect some of these letters here. And once I'm happy with it, I'm trying to play around with this. I may actually, let's go ahead and zoom in. I highly recommend being able to see your fonts really well. Okay. This is helping me a lot. I'm going to actually ungroup this so I can manually move some of these letters around. So we're going to go ahead and ungroup in the top right-hand corner.
So basically what Tanner's doing while he does this is he has taken this font and it is not a cursive font. It's actually, it's not a connecting font, but you can manipulate your letters once you ungroup that and bring them to kind of overlay on top of each other and make them a cursive font.
Yep. So I'm gonna bring this down a little bit. But yes, so now it's a cursive font and it's awesome. So what we're gonna do at this point is we'll come over to the. The actually looks pretty good for the most part. I'm gonna actually ungroup it and move the T. It's over a little more than I like. Bring it up. There we go. I still want it to touch because I like that. But yeah, so now that we have that, we're going to zoom out a little bit and see how it looks.
So Audrey asked, and she's asked this once before, and
Hey,
that's why
Audrey, I
she
love
said,
it.
"Can I ask again why when you weld sometimes the image goes completely black?"
That's a great question.
I wish we knew.
Yeah, Audrey, so it's just it's resorting. Say you were welding together a blue layer, a purple layer, and a black layer. It's going to result back to a black. You can change it again. It's totally fine. So that's awesome. Yay, I love it. Yes, Cindy, Design Space is the number one reason why people don't take action, because it's overwhelming. So I am so glad to teach it. We're here to help inspire you, not only to make awesome projects, but equip you and teach you exactly how to do it. So, all right, now what we're going to do is we are going to zoom out. I'm going to move the that I have back here, my big old square. I'm gonna move it somewhere else because we're done with that for now. Now what I'm doing is I'm gonna hold down my mouse and I'm gonna select all of this layer. So I'm selecting all my font, my text letters, I'm selecting my weld result, and then I'm gonna release. Look over here on the right-hand sidebar, guys. Look at all these layers. That means they're all selected. Now, within one button, which is our weld button today, all that is going to turn into one beautiful image. Are you guys ready for this? So in 3, 2, 1, I'm pressing the weld button right down at the bottom right-hand corner. Ta-da!
There you have it.
Look at that. The Gordons. This will be one layer, and then our bottom will be one layer. And this, I feel like, is such a great training for you guys that are ready to get started with making a doormat and making some awesome projects. So let's head over to here, this one, and you can see we have this. So we're just going to attach this one. I'm gonna weld that. Ta-da! And there we go. So I've got to speed this up because I want to make sure that you can make this project as well. So we're going to go ahead and close this square out. We're going to make sure we have our machine selected properly. So our maker 3, and we are going to press make it. Kathy says, I just really use my Cricut. I maybe want to use my Cricut more with your help. Kathy, you will love, love, love using your Cricut more with our help. Now I'm having friends saying, Tanner, why 2 mats? Guys, this is a 30 by 18?
Yeah.
It's a 30 by 18.
I think that's what you'd said.
Yep, 30 by 18 doormat, and we are having to use 2 layers to get this down. Like, it's gonna look legit. It's taking 2 12 by 24 mats.
Yes.
This is legit. So this is a big project, but I know you guys can do it. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take our freezer paper and get it set up. So we're not mirroring this today, or maybe you guys should. I'm gonna put this, hold on, let me think about this with the freezer paper. I'm putting the freezer paper shiny side up. So this was going down, so I should mirror it. Because the shiny side is the side that is going to be heat activated and stick to this side of the doormat. So I think I'm going to mirror it. I'm going to make sure to mirror it.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and mirror this right here. So we're turning mirror on. And I've heard multiple ways on how you can cut your freezer paper, whichever way you want to. I'm going to consult Courtney to see her opinion. So Jay Burns asked a great question. If it is welded, it's permanent. So Jay Burns uses attach because I do projects that change names. So if you are attaching, that helps, but attach is a paper clip. So attach means you can unattach. So if you're doing letters like we did today that overlap, when you cut that on the Cricut, guess what's going to happen? After you cut it on the Cricut, it's gonna look right on your mat, but here's what's gonna happen. I could actually pill up the G, pill up the O. It still go cut those cut lines. So what I do for friends that want to, say you want to design this project, sell it, have a backup project, backup one, everything like that, here's my secret. I duplicate before I weld, hide that layer, and then save the project in Cricut Design Space. So I can go back to that project, I can go to my hidden layer, unhide it, duplicate it, do the name that's for that customer, rinse and repeat. There's amazing processes that you can set up for yourself to build a business with your Cricut machine. So definitely check that out. So yay, I love it. Aaliyah, thank you so much for that. As we talk through it, she's awesome. Saves us. She's awesome. It's awesome. Freezer paper. This is awesome because it has a shiny side, and we're gonna put that down. And when we do, we're gonna peel it up. We're gonna stick the cut one down onto the mat. And then, my friend, here's what's gonna happen. The mini easy press is gonna activate. and it's going to heat activate to stick this to our mat. It's going to be glorious. So let's go ahead. I did not know this was going to be so design space heavy today, but I feel like a lot of you guys definitely needed it.
So just to repeat, when you are doing this, shiny side is going down on the mat when you cut. So shiny side down on your Cricut mat. Do not mirror. That way the shiny side you can heat activate onto your doormat.
Love it. Thank you, Lauren, as we almost got a little tripped up. Now this is my favorite way to work with the freezer paper. I like to take it, cut it, and then here's what I do personally. I line it up on one side with one corner, like so. Lay it on out. I have a very large piece of freezer paper here. And I'm just going to lay it down onto the mat. Make sure it's flat.
Anna says, can you use parchment paper instead?
I do not recommend
this is
paper.
Just a freezer paper strictly because that shiny side, you can't, it is heat activated and it kind of makes it to where it's sticky on that mat so it stays in place. So when you go to spraying, it's not going to move around. Yeah,
it's going to be, just follow along with what we're doing here and you'll see why you'll never use vinyl. You'll never want to use anything else again. It's pretty awesome.
So Debbie also says that she has done it with shiny side up if you have an older blade. That way it's not as likely to tear the paper.
I love that. That's a great
if you don't have a blade handy, a new blade handy, and you know that your blade is older, Debbie says she's done it, so I say why not try it?
Yeah, I love that. So we're going to press continue on Design Space. I'm connecting to this machine. And guys, what we're going to do while this is cutting, now there is a freezer paper setting, so it's like they knew we were making this. We're going to select freezer paper and press continue, and then we'll be able to load this into the machine. I'm not doing any special settings or anything like that. And Cheryl, I have no idea where you get this colorful flex seal. I'm new. This is new to me.
I think someone said they found it on Amazon.
Oh, cool.
I mean, check it out. What does Amazon not have?
I know, right? So, they have it all. They have it all. So I have two mats. So while that one's getting ready to cut, I'm going to move these doormats. Okay, let's press that flashing play button. Oh, if you've never tried this, guys, you're going to love this technique. Love it. All right. How often do you change the blade? Miss Linda, it's just like your oil change, depending on how much you use it. Great question. Love it. Now, guys, I still want to know, like, do we have anyone that's, like, still on the fence or maybe already is like, you know what, I need to join the membership? Go ahead and throw us a comment up. Let me know. I want to see who's here. As you guys I can already see we have a lot of members here that are amazing.
Just so you know, we have 575 people currently watching. Yes,
guys,
we do.
Guys, you all are showing out today. Unreal. I love it. Well, guys, thanks so much for crafting alongside us. This is awesome. Okay. Here's my favorite thing if you're looking down right here with me. I'm peeling this up, but I'm leaving all of these other layers right here in place. And let me explain to you why. So when I have these right here in place, this is going to allow me to peel this back. And when I get all of this picked up, which you want to be careful because you don't want to rip anything. I'm just taking it easy. And again, my cut was not perfect in some areas, which is fixable. I'm leaving this down so I can put in these little extra layers. So just like so. Okay. Some of it just did not cut right, which is unfortunate. unfortunate. All right. So we're getting through here. Okay.
Now this is going to be something that I don't think you will have a problem if it does rip a little bit.
Now mine's ripped a lot in a lot of different areas, so if you're wondering if this is normal, I would put this in the column of no. Like I've never, if you've watched any of our videos about this, anytime that I cut live and whatnot, I never have these issues. So I just wanted to let you guys know that.
You also need to make sure that you do not use a standard grip mat or a strong grip. This is a light grip.
Yes, I love the light grip for this because you see how many times I've laid it down, I've picked it up. You might start feeling like, oh my gosh, I can't do this. But when you start seeing me use the mini easy press on this, oh my gosh, it's beautiful. Okay, this is overwhelming to me, so I just want to let you all know. This piece right here is definitely overwhelming. So anyway, what we're gonna do real quick is I'm gonna sit this to the side and we're gonna weed our other one just to get all of this ready. And the best part is the Flex Seal is the easy part of this tutorial. So notice I'm leaving this down here and there's just areas, I think my blade, I'll be replacing the blade because it's not the pressure. Obviously the pressure cut really well, but this right here, you can just see areas that it did not want to cut. That's so strange.
Who was it that gave us that hack about doing it the other way and mirroring it? Maybe we should have tried it.
Maybe. I've cut this so
Rebecca,
many times.
yeah, the mat seems to be pretty tacky for a light grip, honestly.
Yeah.
But
this one's new, so this is a new light grip.
Yeah.
We wanted to have 2 mats for today's project, but nonetheless, this is definitely like a blade issue for what we're seeing here. Okay, here we go. Like the reason it's ripping is that it actually didn't cut. So anyway.
So another thing you could do if you see that it's not cut, just take your
that craft knife.
Yeah, just take your craft knife.
Love that.
And
also,
do a few cuts and so that'll keep you from having to recut the whole thing.
Yes. That's a great tip.
By the way, we're up to 626.
626. You guys are ready to see this doormat come to life. I am living for it.
So Faye is asking, can you use vinyl on this?
I highly recommend this freezer paper technique. And I want you to see why, Faye. So you're going to see this here in a moment. Now what I want to do, I don't know what you can see.
Pull it down just a little bit right there.
Perfect. I want to show you guys. We're about to give away this handbag from yesterday, so get ready for that. Today's giveaway is the mini easy press. So we've been raving about it. You're about to see it in action here. And I found it. I just want to make sure how many inches I have on each side. So I have 3 inches on the left. I think I have too many inches over here. I have 5, so I need to move it over some. I did general area. Let's try right about there. Let's see this. So we're at 4.5. We're at 4, so I'm gonna bring it over just another hair. Right about there. This should be, now we're at 5. Now I need to move it over. Now I need to, okay, we're gonna do this. I wanna make this perfect. Love it. Okay, let's look here. We're at 5, I swear. Now I'm at 3.5. This is the worst part of any project.
Just barely.
Right, I know. That's 4.5.
Hold it at 4.
And then 4. Oh my gosh, look, 4. 4. Okay, perfect. So we're looking good there. Perfect. Now let's take the easy press and start heating this up. I have this on level 2, and you're gonna start seeing that this is going to heat activate, and where all of it is not wanting to stay down, it's gonna start wanting to lay down. Now, if you can do this with a large heat press and then use a mini, I would say that would probably be ideal if we're talking like dreams. So look, this area we've heated up. This is the best area. And I'm just gonna go slow. We can go into a live Q&A, Lauren, because I'm gonna be doing this for a while. If we have any friends that's like, Tanner, I have a question for you. So one thing I wanted to share with you guys, I bumped this up. For some reason, I just did not pay attention. I left this at level 2, and that was taking me a lot longer than level 3 for the mini easy press. So if you are wondering what level.
I'm going back to my
If
seat.
you're wondering what level this would be best at, level 3, obviously hotter the better for this part of the process. Now, if we could have the overhead, I'll give you guys some tips here. Make sure that your freezer paper, it's very delicate, so make sure it's laying the right way. So I'm trying to make sure to be mindful of our little strip right here. Make sure to not mess it up too bad at all.
Did you center that?
Did I center this? Mm-hmm. I'm trying to double check that you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take this box, and this is the edge of, I need to move this over to the right some. Thank you.
Oh, don't thank me, thank your people.
Thank you all. Woohoo! Okay, so I'm trying to figure out the best way to center the little snowflake here. If this is here, the edge of my snowflake's right here. I want the other edge of my snowflake to be right here as well. How does this look? Can you guys see this on overhead? Is this looking better? This is where the snowflake will begin.
Yeah, I think we're good now.
Are we looking better? Okay, sweet.
Yeah, just move it down to meet with that bottom
Yes. So this
There
was a
you
little
go.
smaller strip, and we're going to deactivate that as well.
Julie asked, what's your suggestion for a glue gun, please?
Oh my gosh, we use the Lynn Lily hot glue gun. Now, have you got to work with the Lynn Lily hot glue gun?
Oh my gosh.
I love
It
the
is
Lynn
a
Lily hot glue gun.
game changer.
It's a mini hot glue gun, which it's wireless, it's a mini. You get a lot of things with the mini that you would never expect. So you get wireless, you get a precision tip, which changed the game for me using hot glue in certain crafts. So it's a game changer. Now you guys might be like, I don't have time to do this, but honestly, this is so fun. Like, this is the fun part of crafting that I want you all to see, that like this is one of those things where you can make or break. And this is a skill that you're gonna learn and be able to take with you. So I have more classes. If you wanna become like a freezer paper expert, there are more classes at Makers Gonna Learn. We just added one from my good friend Carly Hall. So Carly Hall has one where she, I don't know if she used Flex Seal or not for hers, but nonetheless, it's amazing. And she teaches you how to use it with a paint bottle. So she didn't use Flex Seal on that one, but you could totally use it if you want.
So what he is doing now is going back and just getting those middle pieces to those letters, because that's going to make a big difference. And if you do use the big heat press, this is where the mini press is going to come into play big time.
Oh yeah.
So yes, you can use the big heat press for this.
But this
my
would be
only thing
easier.
is if you use the big heat press, you just have to really watch when those edges of like that snowflake, there's a good chance of you getting those and creasing them.
Now, here's my secret hack. Reverse tweezers, y'all. Reverse tweezers to make sure you place these exactly where you're supposed to. Do you see how easy it is when I have a reverse tweezer?
And see how he put the letters back in there?
Oh yeah, that's
so that
a
he
hack.
knows exactly where to use it,
There's
and
no-
then
there's
use
no
your
map.
reverse tweezers.
There's no hard work here when you use the reverse tweezers. But this is from
So we're
something
gonna improvise. This is again like,
else. I love that.
yep. I mean,
It looks pretty good.
here we are. You all, it's not the same as the other O, but listen, it's part of design.
Here we are.
And we
working
are
with what we got. Obviously, if you're working not on a live stream with over 600 people, thank you guys so much for being here. Again, we're about to announce the giveaway winner. Details linked below to enter to win for all our giveaways. But you could slow down. You don't have to go this fast.
Yeah.
There's no need. But
I mean,
the
we're
rush
just-
is for you guys.
We're trying to make this time worth it for you all. We don't want to keep you on here
Yeah.
so long that you
Right.
get bored. We're trying to get through here and teach you and
Yes. Okay,
help you
so
learn.
now, sorry to cut you off. I am taking the butcher's paper. I'm taking it and I'm just going to tape lightly around here to protect my work surface. So I'm taping this here. That's gonna stay good. I'm gonna take another piece, protect this side over here.
It's what
That's what I think as well.
Yeah.
I'm trying to make sure I lined it up properly to where it's not so, I'm only worried about it like looking a little woo. That's what I'm only concerned about. I'm not concerned about them touching or anything like that. I just want to move it up a little so that it is pretty good. At this point in the lob, I'm just 100% committed right here to try to make it look the best. I should have. What I want you guys to do is to be mindful when you line it up. So what I did was this piece down here, my piece of freezer paper was wavy.
Yeah.
They weren't lined up properly. So that was a Tanner fail.
It's fine.
But we're gonna be good. So now
Right.
we are going to shake this up. I'm super excited. I'm super nervous. Lauren, I'm getting nervous.
Don't be nervous.
Here we go.
Don't be nervous.
Good.
We're fixing to see all these emojis and then
Oh
you're
my
going,
goodness.
ooh.
Oh my goodness. Overhead.
Yes.
Look at this. Wow. Wow. Look at this.
Now this is probably something that you may want to do in layers.
That's what I'm kind of thinking about. Like, notice how I'm like doing multiple sprays. I do want to give you guys a review. Like, it splatters. It's thick. You can see it's thick.
She's thick.
She is thick.
She's thick.
This is very thick, which I think is a good thing.
Oh yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
it's gonna be durable for a while.
And that's what you want in a doormat.
Yes.
You want it to be durable. You don't want that to wear off because obviously you're going to have a lot of people.
The wear and tear.
Right.
If you're selling this, like, you definitely want to make sure it's taken care of. Okay. Look at that. Oh, look at all these emojis.
I know.
Love it. So guys, if you're on the fence, Black Friday deal is open up just for you to say yes and to get crafty with us. We want you to unlock everything. And remember, if you become a member today, you're going to have access to make all the projects that you see here at Maker Bootcamp. And these projects are advanced projects that you're not going to be able to make. You cannot make yesterday's project without the resources. And I'm not saying you couldn't make this without our membership.
Oh,
but
yeah.
why would you not want to have all the resources just there for you? Download it and rock it. Now this will take a minute to dry, so we're gonna let this sit here and we'll answer any.
Now there
any of our
was someone,
questions.
okay, someone just said, could you do that with spray paint as well?
You could, but if you were buying spray paint, buy Flex Seal so that you have the durability. I do not think the spray paint would work as well. So, yeah.
Also, the paint that we are using, it's not fumeless, but we are in a very well ventilated
Yes, I talked about that earlier. Make your
Please make sure if you all are doing this, open a door, do it outside.
Go outside.
Yeah.
Like, that would be my tip. Go outside. Take care of it. Yeah. Look at this. Oh my goodness.
It looks so good.
It does. It does. It does. I'm going to get this area right here. Okay. Oh my goodness. I love this. Yay! I love it. Oh yes, Tanner, this is so much quicker than the paint method. Exactly. Could use a cool use of Flex Seal. Yay! Purple Pixie just joined. Welcome, my friend. We're so excited to have you here. Yay! It is way more durable.
Where is
than
the
acrylic
unattached
paint.
place? I've seen like 2 or 3 people saying that
Are you
there's
talking about right here?
maybe.
I don't know. They said on their left, so this is my left. This is my right. I think they would see it the same way I would. They said on their left.
Yeah.
I don't know. Unattached. Lauren.
Either way, we are trying to get through this very quickly
I know.
for you
it
guys.
is going to be great.
But
how long should I let this? How long? I'll give it like another minute.
yeah, we'll give it another
minute.
minute. If it was me and I was doing this to make for someone, I would let it sit for no less than, I would at least an hour. For sure. But we're live, so I want to see your reveal. We were up to 7:03 by the way.
7:03. Stop it. Oh my word, guys. Oh my gosh.
Yep.
Y'all.
I mean, and this is a very quick doing it. Think if you would have taken your time.
Oh yeah.
Not saying that Tanner didn't.
I got Flex Seal all over me.
I'm not saying Tanner didn't, but I mean, you have to.
We take credit where credit's due. This is a pretty fast project. Now, I'm not going to remove all these pieces, but what I want to do show you, I'm going to set that one to the side. This is what it's going to look like when you're done. this is the finished, beautiful project. See how all these letters went down? I want to give you guys the review. This Flex Seal is like glue. It's glued down right here and it's secured. I mean, the sharpness, the quality, the Flex Seal is going to last. It is durable.
Yes.
Durable. And yeah, it's phenomenal. These little pieces, the detail, the edges, everything looks so good, my friends. And I want to see you make yours too. So,
and you don't have to use a snowflake.
What do you guys think? No snowflake. You could use so many things.
I mean, there's so many different avenues you could go through. Go with this.
I love it. We have something super, super fun for you all that I think you're going to be blown away by. And that is a really, really fun, super simple sublimation project. Y'all, if you are diving into sublimation, if you want to make money with your crafts, this is the project for you as we gear up in September for Halloween and things like that. So it is super, super fun. The supplies today we'll go over here shortly. We are doing a glow-in-the-dark tumbler. So the glow-in-the-dark tumbler is kind of like the secret sauce for our friends that have sublimated before. Spoiler alert, guess what? It doesn't take any fancy, anything new that you haven't already used or done before to do the glow-in-the-dark tumbler, just besides the actual glow-in-the-dark tumbler. Does that make sense? So you're going to sublimate like normal, and then when it gets dark, it will actually glow, which is really, really fun.
So cool, you guys.
It's awesome. What we love about our design today that I'm going to teach you guys how to do is we're pairing two Maker's Gonna Learn cut files and creating this design, which is awesome. And then after that, we will take it and we're going to kind of cut this apart and create our own tumbler. So again, this one's really easy. It's not anything that you have to be perfect and precise about. We will give you our best tips and tricks for lining everything up. We have quite a few of those. We are working in kind of like two different platforms today. So we're going to do our actual designing just like we normally would in Design Space. And then when we want to go and turn this into kind of like a full wrap tumbler, we are going to use Canva. And I may even show you an idea to give you an idea of how I would do it in preview. Just as some additional training here today because we're super, super excited.
Do it.
Let's go overhead. This is
right.
so good. So you guys saw I have the big little toaster oven. So we're using that. And then I also have just my Epson. This is the new SureColor printer. You guys can see that there. We are loving that. It's super fun. And then for supplies, you will need a glow-in-the-dark tumbler. These are linked down below, so don't even wonder or worry where it is or anything like that, okay? The paper is not glow-in-the-dark. The tumbler is what's glowing in the dark. This is basic black sublimation ink on A-sub paper, which we already know, Alicia, we could use copy paper.
You could use copy paper.
So that's awesome. This is our finished one, just to give you guys an idea of what we're doing today. In addition to that, we have a few things. So we have the heat gun, and this is the saran wrap. So we're going to saran wrap our tumbler. So we'll be able to do that. And then here is our tape. So this is our heat resistant tape. We like to use heat resistant tape and the saran wrap for the best seamless look. So that is super, super fun, and you guys will absolutely adore this project. Now, head over to the share screen. This is going to be a lot of fun today. We are in Cricut Design Space. Now, my friends, we are working with two amazing files. And I know I've probably overwhelmed you already between my workshop and the sublimation course, but if you're not a member, guys, 6,000 cut files, 1,000 fonts, all when you join Maker's Gonna Learn. That does not take into consideration your commercial license, the training courses you get to learn your machine, the Facebook community, and things like that, okay? So here's what we've got. Under cut files, you'll need the file Keep Creeping It Real. Download that one. And then the other one, Alicia, you told me the name of it.
I want to say it's zombie.
Let me just search zombie.
Yeah.
Let's see what we got when we search zombie.
It's a bunch of
I love
zombie
our search
hands.
feature. You can just search what you need, and chances are you'll find it.
There it is.
This is the emerging zombie hands. Let me teach you how you're going to take these and get it from here to Design Space. So, download this. If you want to do this project with Infusible ink, this is probably the best Infusible ink project we've ever made. This one's really easy to do with
It's like
Infusible ink.
foolproof sublimation project.
Yeah, this is a really great beginner one. So
Yeah.
we're just going to drop the file here after we downloaded. We're just going to import it real quick. I think I imported the PNG, so you wouldn't have this if it's SVG. So there's that. This is going to be a cut image, or this part doesn't really matter for our purposes today. We'll say it's a cut image. We'll say it's a print cut image. Sorry, I'm like,
You can use, I mean,
can do
technically
either.
speaking, you could really use either one.
yeah, I'm losing my mind. Losing my marbles. Okay, so you need that file. And then let's go ahead. We already uploaded the Creep in It reel. So you would just do the same process. We like uploading this one multiple times.
Obvious.
Yes. So we'll click Add to Canvas. I'm going to scale this one down. And then I'm going to bring in our other file today. So we're going to add that to Canvas as well. And it's really large. So I'm going to just scale this down to 5 inches. Whoopsie doopsie. My board was not...
It wasn't locked.
Wasn't locked. And it's so weird. It normally always is locked.
And a couple of people were talking about they don't have a sublimation printer. You could still make this using vinyl.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm just going to scale it down myself.
Just do
moving
what
it.
you gotta do.
I'm doing what I gotta do today. Nothing crazy. Okay, perfect. So here's what we've done. We've got our 2 files that we know we're working with, small right over here to the side. What we'll do now is we're going to grab a shape. And with our shape, we are going to grab a square. And now that we have the square here, we're going to go unlock, and we're going to make the width 8.5, or our width actually 11 by 8.5. So there you go. This is our 8.5 by 11 to represent the amazing, amazing piece of paper that you'll be able to, kind of move forward with when we're designing. In this part of the process, I want you to imagine that this piece of paper is our blank, okay? Imagine this is kind of your blank when you are crafting, okay? So we're going to go over here, and we are going to, now that we've brought it in, I'm just going to go from operation, and I'm going to select that new feature, Alicia. I've got a new feature. We're going to use guide. So now this is just a guide. So this is literally what we're needing to do. I do need to slice it a few times, so I don't know if guide's actually the best. We can't slice with a guide, so I'm gonna bring it back to cut now that I thought about this a little bit more. So I'm going to just do a light gray. That way you can see it, I can see it. Are y'all with me? Is everyone here? Beautiful. So we've got this right here. Chelsea, I know it sounds excessive. I think you will absolutely love both courses, okay? You will absolutely love both. So it's awesome. And yes, the zombie file is fun. So we realized that this edge would be perfect to go around the edge, the bottom edge of our project. So what we're going to do is get this one ready first. So we're going to take this and kind of arrange it. And notice that since we brought in the Creep in It real file, or the square or rectangle second, that this is behind. So we just need to bring that to the front. So you can click Arrange, Send to Front. And as you can see here, we can just maneuver it and kind of position. Now that we've positioned it, we can duplicate. So we're just going to duplicate, move it over here. We're going to line it out. And now that we've lined this out, we are going to select our 2 emerging zombie hands, which if you're on Maker is going to learn, search for it, you'll find it. We are going to weld these. Now that they're welded, okay, we are going to select our weld and we're going to select our square. And just notice that kind of like this bottom part is hanging off. That's kind of the purpose. We are going to go ahead and slice that. All right. So instead of welding, because you can only slice 2 layers, we had to weld those together, and then we'll be able to click slice. What you'll see here is that when we sliced and welded, somehow my little zombie hands turned light gray. Really quick fix to bring it back. All right. We're going to go to black. We're going to select the color and we're moving it to black. All right. So there you have it. This is now black. So what we'll do now is position our creep in it reel, and we are going to bring it in and just go to arrange, bring to front, and we're going to scale this down. Now this looks, if we were going to put this on a canvas, if we were going to put this on a wood sign, this size looks really good. So say you're watching today and you don't have a sublimation printer, you can't do this on a tumbler. Lauren, wouldn't you say this would look so good in a frame piece of art?
Oh, absolutely.
I love this idea.
Absolutely. Like if you wanted to make like a little leaner or like a little canvas to put on a bookshelf,
exactly.
that size, perfect.
It's beautiful. But let's talk about the cards we're dealt with today, which is, this is going on a tumbler. I recommend, let's just go ahead and measure, just so that you guys are kind of aware of what we've got going on here. I would measure and just make sure that you only have a few inches.
Let me run and get you one real quick.
Do I not have one?
We need to keep one in here. I feel like it's been one of
a
those
hot
things.
minute. Okay, well, you know what? We'll use the finger. We'll just use our finger. You've got about 3 to 3.5 inches that you'll be able to use. So I just recommend scaling this down. So we're scaling this down here, and we're just arranging that. So we got about 4 inches. You could bring it down some more if you wanted, whatever. Nothing crazy. And then what you're going to be able to do now is you're going to be able to have it, right here. And you could, scale it up and down, but you just want to take into consideration, this is going to be wrapped around your project. Okay, this is going to be wrapped around it. So once you think about that, you're kind of done here in Design Space. Now, we've got a few things that we're going to do to get our project out of Design Space today, but I want everyone to come together and really focus, because we're doing something a little bit out of the ordinary, which is fun when you are sublimating, because we're doing something that Cricut doesn't do yet. So what we want you to think about is, if you look back here, my background has no lines. All right, has anyone ever thought about turning the grids off on Design Space?
It's one of those things that once I started turning the grids off,
It's so much better.
I leave the grids off all the time and just use the arrange and align buttons.
The way that we craft here at Makers Can Learn and the way that we teach, a lot of us do not need the grids. Previously, the way we would craft on the canvas would use grids. We kind of created our own crafting way and using blanks and shapes and things like that. So you can turn it off now. If you're curious and you don't know how to turn it off, press the 3 lines. Come down here to settings. If you need to take a screenshot of this and you learn better visually, screenshot this real quick, my friend. You want to click on settings. Once you've pressed settings, go from general to canvas. And they give you metrics, all of the units. You can choose your canvas grid. You could do a full grid or you could do a partial grid. I really like the partial grid way better than I do full grid, but no grid is actually great too. And it's that easy. So press done, beautiful. Now, what you can do is you can kind of choose your own adventure. First, you can delete out the result, like your background, that's your light gray. You can hide it, beautiful. What we're going to do is we're going to zoom in just a little bit, and Design Space is being wonky. It's not you, it's Design Space today. What I just want you to be careful about is knowing how tall it is. So that's why I kind of hit it, and then you can be like, okay, it needs to go up to there. What I'll probably do now, just for everyone at home, I'm going to move this from a basic cut down to a guide. So that way you just kind of have the guide there. It's all good. And we'll screenshot, what we're going to do is screenshot this inside our guide. Okay? Now, if you want to screenshot on a Mac, let's come to me real quick. Before we do this step, there's two ways to do this. There's a Mac way and there's a PC way. The Mac way is Command, Shift, and the number 4. Command, Shift, and the number 4. Then your mouse, your cursor, you're going to see it today, turn from a cursor mouse to a kind of like a snipping tool. You can arrange it, select it, and when you're letting go of the mouse, it will screenshot. And that's what you're going to learn today. But I know there's probably 50% of people that are like, Tanner, that's not going to do me one lick of good today. I use a PC. What about me? All right? I want you to do the same thing, but use the snipping tool. The snipping tool is very similar, and it's on a Windows device. If you have any questions about that, you can search how to use snipping tool Windows. That will teach you how to take a screenshot from Design Space. Now, if you do not like using the snipping tool, etc., things like that, you could design this whole project just in Canva really easily. Like we could easily do that. Super simple. For iPad, I would recommend probably just designing it in Canva. We like to still use interfaces and software that we're all familiar with. So that's why we're training you and equipping you the way we are today. This is the easiest way if you can screenshot, okay? So I just wanted to have that clear and concise, like assuming everyone knows this happens. This is, you know, Carol says snippet lover. Yes, Carol, I love it. So over here, let's head back over to Design Space and let's do the screenshotting. Command Shift 4. See, look, my mouse is now a little, you know, a little pixel. So once we get in the corner, we're going to press down. We're going to kind of see it here, and we're going to scale it up. So you can see we're just going to bring it neck and neck with our project, and then we'll release. Did you hear that? Woohoo! So now it's down here in the corner. We're just going to let it save to like your desktop, okay? Super simple. We're going to go over here, and I kind of want to talk to you all about this. So let's see what it would look like, since we're going to cut it out anyway, if we just go to our Finder and we go to Recent and we grab our screenshot. So here is our screenshot. And if we go to File and we go to Print in Preview, this is already looking really good.
Oh, see, so the reason that which this is an 8.5 by 11, the reason that I think I pulled it into Design Space was the mirroring part.
Yes.
Or into Canva is because it's easier to mirror.
Yes.
However, with the new Epson SureColor printer, it automatically mirrors it for you.
Yeah.
So that took that step out.
Right.
Now you can go to your printer settings
and automatically,
and
I'll
mirror
show them
images
here in Preview how to flip it so you don't have to worry about that as well. This is what I would do. So I would go to Scale, and I would go to, or Scale to Fit, and then go to Fill Entire Page, just so it uses every piece of it. And then what I would do is before I print it, I would go ahead and mirror it. So to mirror in Preview, we go to Tools, and we go ahead and flip horizontally, right? Is it flip horizontal? I don't want to do it wrong. Yes, it's flip horizontal. It confuses me sometimes. We're going to click flip horizontal. You'll know if it's right or not.
Okay.
Boom. This is mirroring, all right? We mirrored it super quick. So now we can press Command P, back to print. It's been mirrored. It goes scale to fit. It's really awesome. If you want it to scale even more, you could go from like 77%. Y'all, let's see what 85% looks like. That's 85.
It cuts off a lot of that
It
bottom
cuts
part
off a
of the
lot.
hands.
So, you know, 77 is going to give you every piece of your project. All right, my friends? So now you would click print and send it to your favorite printer. We've used so many. There's like 3 different printers here in the studio. So you could use your Sawgrass. You would just want to have it programmed with your favorite settings. So we, you know, on our other computers and things, we have special settings and all of this to discuss all of our different sublimation needs. Now, that's how easy it is to print.
Can you do print and save as PDF and then print it? Absolutely. There are, as my grandmother used to say, there's 10,000 ways to skin a cat. Listen, there are so many different ways you can do this. Designing it in Canva, if you're more used to Canva, you can have your 8.5 by 11 size, and you can just move that the bottom half of the drippy part off of the canvas.
I do want to have it. I want to see if I can show them another way. So again, like Lauren's saying, there's a lot of different ways to do this. Come over here, back to the share screen with me. Let's go back to Design Space. So we've got this file here. We're going to delete our guide. By guide, we're going to attach these together, and we're going to make it small enough now that it will fit in a print and cut. Okay? So this can be now a print and cut. Let's see if I can make it bigger. Oh, no. Make it a little smaller. I just wanted that little area to go away. Do I need a sublimation printer to sign up for the class? I prefer my students to not have a printer yet, because one of our first lessons, we teach all about what printer do I need. So that's really awesome. We kind of go over 3 of the basics. And then if you want to learn more about Canva, the best Canva training I have is actually in Maker's Gonna Sublimate. So we teach that. We'll probably be adding more regarding Canva in there to help you all more. That's probably one of the things I really want for the training program to get in addition this year, as well as files and things. So let's go to Make It now. So this is a print and cut file. So you can see it doesn't get as large, which is why we had to really get it out of Design Space. But if you press Continue and you click Send to Printer and you click Use System Dialog, and we turn Bleed off because we don't really, it's irrelevant here. We'll click Print. When you go back here, we would go to Best Quality, and for some reason, the Creep in It reel isn't showing up.
Yeah, there's certain things about, I mean,
It still works.
it works. This whole process works, and some of the times it will not show it, but it's still there.
Yeah.
Design Space is wonky like that.
It's wild. So I was going to see if I could scale it up in this area. It really wasn't letting me scale it up too much. So that's totally fine. I just wanted to explain to you all by showing you the screenshot method is actually better. And Tina says, I purchased Maker's Gonna Sublimate last fall. Let me tell you, it is awesome. Worth the money you spend, and help me figure out what printer I wanted. Yes, in the course, I promise that for investing in the program, you're going to save that much in your blanks. It is so true. It is so good. Y'all love it. Now, let's go to, we've printed it out. Woohoo! Y'all printed it. Yay! We've got it. Here's what we're doing today. I said I was going to take a pair of scissors. What we're going to do not tell me I don't have a pair of scissors. Oh, I'll use my Tim Holtz. These are good uns. Good uns. Is the $70 off? Yes, no coupon code needed for $70 off. The price is already there. It's already discounted for you. It's awesome. So what we're gonna do, I wanna make sure we line this up for both as best as possible because it is, on the tumbler. So we're going to cut this, and then we'll go overhead now. I'm going to cut this, and then we'll be able to align this. So you can see here, we're just going to trim off this bottom edge. I'm just being really careful. This is ink, so you do want to be as careful as you can be by not scratching it. And if you all have questions, now is a great time to start dropping those.
Yes, so we did have, and one thing that I want to clear up, I answered Sharon's question, but one thing I want to kind of clear up for everyone else, our sublimation course is separate from membership.
Yes, great question.
So one of the things about the difference is once you purchase a sublimation course, like it's yours, lifetime access.
Yeah.
You don't have...
Life of the course is lifetime of yours.
Exactly. Whereas membership, we're adding new things and changing, so it is a subscription. So it's a little different, but it is separate.
Yes, and you know, our course promise or our membership promise helps with your Cricut. This is a place with sublimation in the course, you all investing in that allows our team to invest time and money and resources and energy in testing new supplies, grabbing things that you wouldn't necessarily need with a Cricut membership. So that just helps, you know, if you're interested in sublimation, that's why it's there if you're interested. So I'm just trimming off these edges to make it really to the edge so that we can try to have it as seamless as possible.
So Kathy also had a good question, or she made a comment, wouldn't a paper trimmer work better? So that is a good thought.
That's a good thought.
However, the only problem with the paper trimmer is the fact that that arm has to fold down onto the paper, giving it an option. I mean, not an option, but giving it more room for scratching.
Yeah.
So that ink, if that ink gets scratched off that paper, it's just not good.
Not good at all.
Not a good time.
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna kind of start taking a look here. I'm going to let it lay. If we're overhead, I'm gonna let it lay here. And then I'm gonna kind of just start in this area right here. And I'm going to tape it from the bottom first because we've got to get this seam, you know, you have some extra here, which we can talk about that. Lauren, what's your favorite way to do extra? Do you like to tape it over?
Well,
or do you like to cut it and then just kind of align it?
The only thing with laying it over is you run a risk of bleed. I don't think that it would bleed through the paper, but you still run that risk of it bleeding through and giving you like the ghosting effect.
Right.
So the reason, especially for beginners, that I did it this way, so it does have some overlap, is it allows you to really get that seam nice and crisp. So like Tanner's doing, starting from the bottom and taping it down, and that way once you get to that edge, you can take your True Control knife.
Yes, and I'm actually going ahead and lining it out with my fingers so I'll kind of know where that line's going to be. But I can continue taping this now that we've got it laid here. Just gonna make sure it hasn't moved anymore. And you can tape the top or bottom. The bottom is something you really want to focus on, but the saran wrap will help a lot with that too. This right here, this looks great even when it's not glow in the dark. So you want to think about what your project's gonna look like 95% of the time when you're not going through and having that glow in the dark effect, because not all of us live where it's always dark.
Just a quick heads up, that is a brand new blade on that True Control knife, so just be careful.
We will. So here we go. I have lined it up right here. I've kind of took my finger and kind of just go reinforce my edge. I can feel it. So what we're going to do is take this and we're just going to slice it down. Beautiful. That is a fresh blade. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, so we're going to bring this really close. Go let it overlap. And then we'll be able to grab our tape and we'll be able to taper down. Oh my goodness.
Megan says, if you don't do sublimation or don't want to use infusible ink, would just regular vinyl be a waste of a good sublimation tumbler?
It
Probably.
is.
I would just do it on a non-sublimation tumbler.
Yeah, do it on a non-sublimation tumbler. These sublimation tumblers are an investment, so you do want to be mindful of that. And I did tape this quite a bit, but we are still going to saran wrap this and whatnot. So here, this is the back, and then here's the front, and here's our Creeping It Real. Love this. We'll just take this. There are ways to clean your tumbler and things like that. If you need to dust it off, you can use a lint roller and things like that to make sure it's all good. Lauren, do you use as much? Sometimes I'll be sublimating and I still use as much tape as I normally would, even if I am going to still saran wrap it. Like there's just something, about it.
You use the shrink wrap. I mean, you don't have to use as much tape, but if you really, I mean, if you're just wanting to be meticulous about it and triple make sure that there's no ghosting.
Yes.
Because even if there is just the slightest gap, then it allows that ink, which I don't know if you talked about it earlier, what happens in sublimation is the ink heats up, turns into a gas, finds the polymers on whatever you're sublimating on, and adheres to those polymers.
Yes.
So if it's not right up next to it, it's like those gas particles bounce around and they try to find somewhere to go.
Yep.
So that's why it looks like they spread out, because they're so close together, they kind of spread out. But if there's no room for them to go, they go from here, point A to point B, and there's nothing to go. It's plugged in.
Right. Perfect. I wanted to make sure it was plugged in. And we are going to set this, we're going to do this at 400, right?
Yes.
400.
400, 2 minutes on each side.
Love it. Oh, you guys are going to get to see some fun. So it's at 400. You have to press the start button to start the preheating. There's a lot of times that I'm like, okay, I set it to 400, I walk away. You think it's preheating. You have to press, there's like a little play button, like to make your Cricut cut, there's a play button or a start button on your little bitty toaster oven. We got this toaster oven as a Black Friday deal. So if you don't have one yet for sublimation, once it's a sublimation product, we only use it for sublimating. I won't make my avocado toast in here or anything like that. So you just want to be careful about that. That's crazy. So now we're going to we put this in the shrink wrap, and then we're going to turn this on, and you'll see. Well, I need to plug it in.
It's not plugged in.
I'm so funny.
So we did have some people ask, do you need to use the shrink wrap with if you have a tumbler press? I'm gonna say no. We don't have a tumbler press, so I really don't.
You want to get like a hug.
Well,
like this is like a hug.
But that's what the press does.
Exactly.
So you don't need that extra protection. And with the press, it's doing straight heat onto that, so it's just gonna melt your that shrink wrap.
Yeah.
This is just for if you have a sublimate or a convection oven.
We like the convection oven because you can do tumblers, mugs. I mean, you can do everything in here. I mean, look at this.
April says, is it normal to always have ghosting? Would you sell a tumbler with ghosting? So it depends on the amount of ghosting that you have, April. If it is like an extreme amount of ghosting, I would probably say, let's unsublimate that and try to do a dark color over it. If it's just the least amount of ghosting that really only us picky crafters would see, I think it would be okay.
If you wouldn't use it and be proud of it to show someone that you made it and you sold it, I would not sell it to someone. That is my personal thing. Now look at this. It looks like it's getting a hug. Look at this. What I love about this, guys, look, like this looks so professional. Like it's taut at the bottom, it's very taut. Like y'all see how taut, like this is getting a good hug, okay? So it still says it's preheating. I believe it beeps. Yeah. So what we're gonna do is we're going to have, it beeped to let us know we're good here. I'm going to go to the time, and I just wanna make sure the time is right, which is gonna say add food. So we'll go ahead and add this. We're adding our food, we're adding our tumbler. We're gonna rotate this after 2 minutes. So we'll just put this in here. What an awkward angle. We'll put this in here. Oh, and it's already set to 2 minutes, yay! So now 400 degrees for 2 minutes, and then we'll rotate 90 degrees.
Also, we had a question. Yes, this is the shrink wrap. Most of the time, these tumblers come as a pack of four in a box with the shrink wrap,
and usually
with the
straw
and the little straw cleaners.
Everything. It comes with everything.
Yep. Some of them even have those silicone tips for the straws. Yeah. Some of them do not. That's what
I mean, you're getting quality. So I'm just opening this up, and I'm going to rotate this 90 degrees. So, oh, it's stuck to my glove. That's so funny. Okay. So we rotated it 90 degrees. We're going to close it again. We're going to press start. And start. Hello. It started over. Just going back to 400 and start. It says add food. Hello. Adding food.
This convection oven is great, but can be a little tricky sometimes.
Yeah. So now it has the 2 minutes.
Yep.
It's rotated. Now this oven is magical for me. This oven was like less than $60 to $80. This is one from Walmart. It's a Doormat. It fits a lot. You could actually do like 2 or 3 tumblers in here really, really, really quickly, which I love. So that's why we do it. We haven't ever needed a tumbler press, and I can do so much more in here than just a tumbler. So that's why.
So a lot of people like the convection oven strictly because you can do 2 or 3 at a time.
Oh, watch this. Are y'all ready? We're just popping her in. Just plopping her in here. Getting her in really good. Kind of wanted to stick to me. My little glove. That's so funny. All right, so you can see
We have
here.
not done the ice water with ceramic mugs. That might be the stainless steel.
Oh, the beer can glass. Do not. Okay.
Okay, so that is a good, if you are doing the ice water, just do it with the stainless steel tumblers, mugs, whatever. Because if you do it with the ceramic or glass, like Carol said, when you take it from an extreme heat to one extreme to the other, it can crack. So just be aware of that.
Yeah.
We only do this with the stainless steel tumblers.
That's a great point. Thanks, Carol. So good. Carol is like so wise on her birthday. I mean, another year wiser. How about that? Oh my goodness.
How about that?
So fun. She said she was gardening on her birthday. I love it.
Also, Cassie made a good point. If you use the sublimation tumbler, she said, can you use the oven for sublimating? And then if I were to try to bake salt dough or polymer clay, would that be okay? Yeah. Absolutely. If you have a designated craft oven.
Which sounds excessive, okay? It sounds excessive, but I just want to address, this is such a fun craft, okay? Like you all, I don't know if you understand how much fun sublimation is and how much fun you can have with it, but it is absolutely a blast, all right? Like absolutely a blast. One of my favorite crafts. it really just gets me excited, okay? Like I really, really love it. So, yes, what other questions?
Yes,
Cassie, you will be able to do so many great things with it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to take my saran wrap off first. It has like really got on here.
Yes, you do need to use butcher paper with a heat press, whether it's a mug press or a just sublimating on a shirt.
Yes.
Heat press is. Oh, we've had a lot of people ask, what is ghosting? So
oh my gosh,
ghosting is when, and I wish we had something to show you guys what ghosting is. Oh, Alicia, I know what you're thinking. It's that. Is that you got that pillow back there?
Oh,
yes.
no, but I got a whole basket of...
Okay, you find us some ghosting stuff so we can show them and explain what ghosting is. Ghosting is when you sublimate something and there's not enough pressure, so it kind of looks like it's fuzzy. Yeah. I guess is the best way to explain it.
And y'all, my favorite way, if you're like Tanner, it looks like he's really working hard for this. I really personally like to have butcher's paper between my piece of like saran wrap right here, so it comes off really easily. Sometimes it doesn't come off as well, but the butcher's paper really helps out a lot too. So look at this. I'm just peeling it off in no form or fashion. So yay. Oh my gosh, are we showing ghosting?
So there's the pillow right there in front of you, and then the bottom of that tumbler that he's showing you right now is one that Alicia re-sublimated. So that's why it looks kind of brown.
Wow.
Is because she baked the sublimation off, which did make it a little brown and crispy, but with that design works really well. But then that pillow on the edges where the names are, that's what we call ghosting.
See that? Like, see how crisp Ruby is, but then see how like this isn't crisp at all and things like that. Like this is crisp, that's not, things like that. So yay, love it, love it, love it. But yes, so I'm just cleaning this tumbler up. Again, it would be so much easier if you use the butcher's paper in between. And I think we do a lot more of the butcher's paper. So now that I don't have to go in like every little piece for the tape. But look at this. Look at that. Wow. Just remove this. So crispy. I mean, this is super, super crispy. See how we were able to line that up, our edge ourselves, which looked really good. Super fun. Down here, I'm just peeling this up. It looks like I didn't do perfect right here. I will admit I should have overlapped it a little bit more so that when it's sitting, it would be exactly seamless. But we cut it so you all can learn
Yes,
that a little bit
Diana
more.
says some people have bought the convection ovens from thrift stores.
I do totally recommend that.
Absolutely.
Totally recommend that.
Yes.
Just make sure you have it on like a good outlet, especially if you're buying it from a thrift store. Okay. So see, once you get like a good piece of this, it comes off really well.
What happened with this is we should have.
I wanted to use the butcher's paper.
Yeah.
I usually use butcher's paper. I forgot.
It was, so, and I like to explain this. We sometimes make craft fails on our show that we normally never make because
there's like 5 or extra things your mind is processing.
Yeah, and it can get a little nerve-wracking sometimes. So the reason that this is still on here and why I've been sitting here trying to scrape it off is because we didn't have the butcher's paper. Now, if you were to do a full wrap tumbler, 9 times out of 10, you're going to have that A-sub paper or sublimation paper, and it's going to cover the whole thing.
Yes.
And then you put it over. But if you cut the pieces out, make sure you just kind of, you don't even have to get it really great. It just needs to be on there.
Something in between so it doesn't
Something in between
stick.
it, yes.
But that's a great one. Okay, so